All right, WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, together with
Craig MacRitchie, head of sales at Glenwyvis Distillery.
Glenwyvis. I've heard about you. Aren't you that community-based, a little bit like everyone owns part of the distillery?
Yeah. So we are the first community-owned distillery in Europe. So where over 80% of Scottish distilleries are owned by big multinational corporations, we are owned by 3,500 regular whiskey lovers, over 65% of whom live in our local area.
Excellent. So you actually can call yourself a locally owned and operated distillery.
Correct.
And you also have your pot stills up and you're running, aren't you?
Exactly. So our stills arrived last year in 2016. We got all of our equipment from Forsyth of Rothes. You know, they normally have a waiting list of 6 years, but when they heard about our community aspect, they put us to the front of the queue.
Excellent.
So we're fully up and running. We've been distilling now for almost 6 months.
Excellent. All right, so what can we expect in 2.5 years? You'll have your first then release, and then you're going to put half of it down delay and the other half you're going to sell, or what's your system?
So the way we're going to do it, we will have a release in 2.5 years. Right. Our distiller is a gentleman called Duncan Tate.
Okay.
Now, he has worked 27 years in the whiskey industry.
Okay.
He was a manager of Mortlach Distillery before he came to Glenwyvis. So if he's not happy with it, it won't be released. But we will do a release earlier on, especially for our investors. So I say we've got investors all around the globe from 31 different countries.
Amazing.
So there will be some release 2021. But whether that's a general release remains to be seen. But we're using a range of different casks, ranging from 55 litre first fill Oloroso sherry, 125 first fill Oloroso, 250 Oloroso hogshead, and 200 litre bourbon barrels.
Right, exactly. Oh, wow. Very good. Most of those casks are probably owned by some of the shareholders.
Correct. So although we have been in production for quite a while now, we're not a big distillery, to be honest with you. So our very peak output would be 200,000 litres of whiskey a year.
That's not large.
Yeah, exactly. So if you look at our nearest neighbour is Glenord. So they're 11.5 million litres. So So we are much smaller than that. But so yes, you're right. So 70 casks filled to date. Most of them are for investors.
Exactly. Very good.
So we're filling about between 6 and 10 casks a week, depending on which cask we're using. And some of them we are actually putting aside for ourselves as well.
Exactly. And what's going to happen in the future? What can we look forward to?
So what we're hoping for, because we've got the experience, we have one of the most experienced distillers in Scotland behind us. We've got the backing of the whiskey-loving public all the way around Scotland, UK, Europe, the rest of the world. We hope to do something a wee bit different. Because we are not focusing on quantity, we are focusing on quality. So one thing that we can do, although it's not traditional of our Highland area where we're from, north of Inverness, we're going to do peated and unpeated whiskey.
Okay, excellent.
We're also going to maybe try experimenting with some casks as well, just because we can.
I like that, just because we can.
Exactly, why not?
Why not, exactly. Thank you very much. Now, this is your first time in Limburg at the Whiskey Fair. What's your impression?
It's incredible. I mean, even people, I'm from a small village in the Highlands of Scotland, 500 people. And we know about Limburg.
Oh, wow.
So I was speaking on the plane to one of my colleagues who's here with me today. His name's Michael, and we were saying, we can't believe we're going to Limburg. Not even just to go, but to work, because one of the biggest whiskey festivals in the world, and what a great reception we had. I personally think that German people's approach to whiskey is very similar to Scottish people's approach to whiskey. I think that's why this is one of the key places that we want to do well in, get to know people. Purely because it's not about, I say, quantity or cheapness. It's about a good single malt whiskey.
And we do appreciate that as well.
Yes, I know that.
And Germans like their peated whiskey also often.
Exactly. So that's why we're doing both.
Thank you. All right. So WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany. Thank you very much. And all the best for the future.
Happily, thank you very much.